Hello, welcome to another episode of Constitutionalist Podcast. I am your host, Joseph M. Leonard. That's L-E-N-A-R-D. It looks French. It's not. It's Leonard without an O. Thank you for tuning in. As Graham Norton used to say on his show, let's get on with the show! Hello, everyone. This is going to be a quick cheat intro segment. I'm going to be lazy. I've got so many guest recordings built up. I'm going to get lazy and cheat on some Saturdays. I don't have to dream up a monologue topic this way. And I'm also not going to say what guest will be appearing because I'm going to be lazy and cheat and use this same intro several Saturdays to intro a guest show. So as Graham Norton used to say, let's get on with the show. Surprise interview. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Constitutionalist Politics. And joining me today will be Tony L. I'll be asking him, of course, what it feels like to be part of the alphabet and how MNNOP are doing. But just a joke. It's spelled E-L, okay? And, of course, in post, I'll put that at the bottom of the screen for those viewing behind the scenes. But Tony, I saw his online write-up, and he brought up why. Again, not the letter Y. We're not talking English alphabet, but W-H-Y. And my response to him was, but the whole slate of journalism tenets, I'm reading from my notes, who, what, where, when, why, and how are all out the window these days for preferred narrative propaganda rather than journalistic integrity. But before we get to that, welcome to the show, Tony. How you doing?
I'm blessed and highly favored. Thanks for having me on, Joseph.
Glad to have you. Glad to have you. And like I always say, could be better, could be worse, right?
So
before we get into why you're all about the why, pun intended, where were you born and raised? Where are you now? Some significant places you've been to in between, that sort of stuff.
Sure. I'm a Southern-born Georgian boy. I got the red clay running through my blood. My folks are from South Georgia. As far as back as I understand, we've been in the South for forever. And my dad was in the military, so I was blessed to be raised in the military family in so many ways, because what has not gone unappreciated was being exposed to a lot of different cultures, not just foreign, but also domestic. I don't know if you had this experience, but when you're brought up in a period where you have to be able to adapt, not just to new surroundings, but new people. And sure, there's some people who don't do it, properly, it could be issues, but when you do it and you do it well, I think it's a plus, because you don't have this one way of looking at things, as a person who raised and born in the same area code. You have a different perspective on the world, a different viewpoint of the world, and I really appreciate that. I didn't appreciate it then, didn't appreciate it all then.
There's a lot we don't appreciate till we get older. Yeah,
exactly. But as I have gone into adulthood, as you say, I had to leave childish things behind, and growing up like that, and being an inquisitive person, the why, I never lost that. We have you have children, people who have children, we see that when they're born, that's their motive, that's their MO. Why? Why? Explore, how, what, all of that.
An insatiable curiosity. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. And for whatever reason, good or bad, that's beaten out of us as we get older, unfortunately.
Right.
And
Yeah. Just accept it. Just be a
yes,
sheeple. Just follow
exactly,
the herd. Just follow
exactly,
orders.
exactly. And that's not good for a culture and a country that's supposed to be free. Free-minded individuals. Free-minded individuals, they don't have that handicap of no, or not questioning why not. But that's the kind of culture that we have morphed into, much to our detriment.
Yeah. You said a couple things. Red clay. Been there, done that. And if you've never been to Georgia, and never seen My Cousin Vinny the movie with Pesci and Marissa
Classic.
Tomei, you got to see My Cousin Vinny. And inside baseball, there is a My Cousin Vinny sequel supposedly in the works now,
Oh my
finally.
God.
But
No,
yeah, the red
no,
clay,
no.
if you
Leave stuff
don't,
alone. Leave the classic alone. Leave the classics alone.
yeah,
And
if you,
on that point, I did see that they're trying to bring back um, Harlem Nights with that's Eddie Murphy,
mm,
Richard Pryor.
they're
They,
trying to
they're
reboot a
trying to, I'm like,
bunch of them.
leave
Yeah,
classic, and
yeah.
that just goes
Well,
back that we
they've
have no
got no
creativity,
imagination. They've
right?
got to
No creativity,
reboot
no
everything.
imagination, and they don't want to push the envelope.
Right. Yeah. And the other thing you says adapt, right? The adage, adapt or die. Figurative, not literal,
Sure.
hopefully most times, but there are times indeed it can be literal, that adage. So yeah, when I saw your profile and the word why jumping out, it's like absolutely. Uh and but we've always done it that way is not a valid
No,
answer.
not at all. Not at all. Now, it's the word evolution comes in. Uh, just because you've done it yesterday, don't need
Yeah.
unless it's positive, unless it's a good thing.
I,
Uh,
I
Unfortunately, progressivism in today's culture is to me is a four-letter word because it's anything other than progress.
it's not progress, it's regression. The
Yes, yes,
today's left wants to go back from a
yes.
we the people constitution republic closer to a democracy that they keep claiming they want, but they don't. They
No,
want to go, they are leftists. They
right,
want to go back towards monarchy, socialism, communism, fascism, all one or a small group of elites ruling over everyone. That's not progress, that's regression. And as you said, I was going to chime in tradition. I am a traditionalist if it's a positive thing, as you said, right?
right,
But
right,
question the how, the who, what, where, when, why, and how, and can it be done better? Not just, oh, change
right,
for the sake of change, or, oh, my feelings are hurt.
right,
BS. If it works, let it work, and
right.
shall be known by fruits. Show, don't tell. I don't give a rat's patootie. The promises spewing from your mouth, like the Inflation Reduction Act, which
Mhm.
was the inflation production money laundering scheme
Right,
to their families, friends, and donors, and inflation ran out of control. They give these bills wonderful titles and they do the exact opposite, right? Show, don't tell.
right.
Shut up and do. And yes, you will be judged. In the Bible, there are many scriptures. We are to judge. Matthew 7, there's more than just that first 7 words. It's really condemn not, lest ye be condemned. for final judgment is for the Lord, but there's 12 other scriptures tell us to judge biblically ourselves and everyone else on the same standards. Don't be a hypocrite. So yes, I judge you based on your effects, not your empty promises. That's a whole part of our problem today. People just watch the news and so, chicken in every pot. Yeah, but they're not telling you their actions are making that chicken cost 10 times more than what it used to.
Right. Agreed.
Okay, let me move my soapbox off to the side. Rant over. Back to the why. When did you first have this epiphany that there's not enough questioning the why and keeping the good, not throwing out the baby with the bathwater, right? Changing what is bad, like our Constitution, the 3/5 clause. Frederick Douglass was a leftist until he educated himself on the Constitution and what the 3/5 clause was about. Not to protect slavery, but to limit the power of the slaveholders and the slave states. He became a Republican after that. But people love to quote his once a slave, always a slave speech that he later recanted. And that's because he asked why.
Well, first of all, let me make a slight correction. Frederick Douglass was not a leftist in today's sense.
No, right. Thank you for the correction.
He's not a leftist. I mean,
for that time, yeah, he was a Democrat.
Well, again, there was no such thing as Democrat back then either, at the time. So he didn't know
Federalist.
He didn't know what he didn't know. So he didn't know what he didn't know, and when he did learn, he couldn't unlearn, and so that's why I want to put for Frederick Douglass.
But the slave mentality was continued. Slaveholders didn't want the slaves to be educated, and same post-slavery, they wanted, like today, our education system, remove civics, remove history, keep the people dumb, and they're easily fooled.
Sure. Again, the product is the same, but how the ingredients were mixed are totally different. Back then, everything's based on economics, first of all. And when you ask how that I developed or didn't relinquish my propensity to be questionable, to be curious, always had this curiosity, and all stood from being able to see how the culture was in a military community where everybody mixed. I did most of my growing up. I started the South, and I came on into the South, during the summer, and I spent most of my time with my grandparents on a farm, but I was never in the communities until 1976, when my dad moved back down to Columbus, Georgia. Then we was in the South. That's when I was like, oh,
Yeah,
different here.
I didn't know there was a Columbus, Georgia. I never saw that when I was in the state of Georgia. There's a Columbus, Ohio, closer to me. That's the more famous Columbus. Yeah. So you did the whole old McDonald thing on the farm for a while, huh?
Yeah. Well, during the summertime. But when I got exposed to the South and all of the don't do's, can't do's, should not do's, I was like, what the hell? And so that's a curiosity, because I'm like, okay, from what I understand, I mean, as far as trying to date women, just whatever, there was this group of women that I shouldn't approach all of a sudden, Caucasian women. And I was like, okay, but how does this make sense when it seems to be okay when they are able to go with boys from the cultures that we went to war with, Asian, Mexican, sister, whatever, but I'm off limits? Nah, that don't make any sense to me. Somebody got to explain that to me. And that just evolved more and more and more. Why are we separated? The two most powerful groups in our community, the Negro community and the Caucasian community, are supposed to be, for whatever reason, at odds. And nobody could really intellectually explain that to me. And it
Right.
wasn't until Roots hit the airways that people just lost their mind. And
Well,
now
that to
I'm
me
a
was
slave
very,
now,
yeah,
and that's my heritage, slavery. And
yeah.
I know, Grandpa, you missed that part. When did this happen? And from that point on, we were in this two camps, and I never experienced anything culturally like that before in my life. And that changed our culture, our way of speaking, our way of interacting to me, to where we are now, where the BLM, all this other nonsense can actually take root. But before that, was it perfect? No, but it wasn't like, reparations and,
They killed Lincoln, the guy who was actually going to give
yes,
reparation.
yes,
40
yes.
acres and a
So
mule, people.
again,
You remember that?
it never made sense to me, and that morphed, and that the snowball effect. The more and more I dug and dug and dug, and the more I looked at law and how that's applied to our culture, and looked at the success that blacks have had in this country, where you go back to the Revolutionary War and before then, look at our culture. And I often write, and I'm looking at a podcast right now that I get ready to do, the absurdity that our history begins in 1965 to so many people is so repugnant to me.
Yeah,
It's just like,
yeah.
and then I hear this regurgitation of that we were slaves for 400 years. I'm like, wait, the country's not even 300 years old. So somehow the math don't really work to me. Somebody got to explain that to me.
Right.
How does that work?
There were
How does
many.
that work?
Yeah, David Barton, great historian, works
Yes,
with Glenn Beck,
he
does
got me
a
on this. He
great
got me on
job.
this. He got me on
Yeah,
this. Yeah,
I've
Glenn
been to
Glenn
several
Glenn
David
Beck did
Barton
this
speeches.
episode about Black patriots. I'm like,
Absolutely. A
what?
lot of free blacks
What?
fought for our
Yes,
nation
yes,
at its creation for the hope
yes,
of freedom and individualism,
yes,
freedom for all, biblical community,
yes,
free
yes, yes, yes.
Martin Luther King Jr., this leftist, cultural, Marxist, racist garbage. You and I are of the same race. We
Yes,
have different skin tones. We may
right,
have different subcultures. We are of the same race,
right,
not a different race.
right.
Martin Luther King Jr., content of character. A
Always that.
whole lot of white people I know I wouldn't associate with, has nothing to do with skin tone.
Right. Same here, and that's really has fueled my wanting to go down this rabbit hole more and more and more, because it's just so much that is being lied about, and it all seems to be part of this grand scheme to keep us separated. And but the more
Cultural Marxist divide and
the more
conquer identity
I learn and
politics.
look at this, and I look at, see, when the Europeans came over, they too wanted to separate themselves, like they think to distinguish themselves between, the elite to the paupers. So they had to create this other set of white people. We couldn't all be Europeans or whatever. So now you are white people, and I'm the non-white. I'm Caucasian. So you're white people, or what my grandparents used to call you're the crackers. Which you don't hear that often.
Yeah.
That negative connotation, but that's still where we look at the separation of classes, where there's an elite class of blacks here, and there's an elite class of whites here, but they want to keep those who are not elites fighting amongst themselves so they could keep growing their wealth. But we on the lower end keep falling for this okie doke and not understanding that
Yeah.
there is a reason why they don't want us to get along, and all
Yeah.
his economics.
Yeah. It's Kanye, who gets flaky at times, was involved with the creation of the Harriet movie. It came out years ago. Great movie. But even in that, they don't mention her as a Republican, right? She was part of the abolitionist movement. The whole foundation of the GOP here in Jackson, Michigan, as the abolitionist party. Lincoln, a Republican. A lot of people, kids now, we don't teach history. They think he was a Democrat. It's like, I mean, right? So and people don't know the NAACP, founded by abolitionist Republicans to protect, and it's the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. That's not derogatory. If it were, then change the name of the group.
Well, again, the NAACP was started by W. Du Bois, and W. Du Bois, he was of the mindset of the elites. What people want to look at, when did the Negro people as a community leave the Republican Party? I point to that period of time under Woodrow Wilson, where there was a battle going on between W. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington for the soul of the Negro community. Booker T. Washington, he was definitely a person who looked at having something to come to the table with, having your own, being one who had money, one not necessarily wealthy, but had control of your own means. Being frugal, being one who was of the independent, I don't need government kind of mindset. Where W. Du Bois, he was of the elite mind. He was of, we're going to form a group, and we're going to tell the Negro people how to react as a group. So W. Du Bois is definitely not a fan of mine.
But at the same
neither
time,
is the NAACP. NAACP has done nothing fruitful, in my opinion, for the economic independence of the black community.
especially not today. How is it an advancement of colored people? Again, it's in the name people.
It is.
To kill your children in the womb. Mm-hmm. And still disproportionately more blacks are killed in the womb than any other group per capita, per, basis of population, whatnot. But my point with the NAACP, other abolitionists involved, and to protect gun rights of former slaves who were being slaughtered, both white and black Republicans, by the KKK, formed by the former slaveholder Democrats. Mm-hmm. So, they did some good, but I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you. It's not.
What are you giving credit to the NAACP for?
For some help early on. For helping to at least want to, but again, actions, right? Being part of protecting gun rights for blacks to be able to defend themselves against the KKK. The Jim Crow laws, the gun laws all come from the left, and mainly why? To disarm black people.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah.
Right? But again, we don't teach history, so people don't know any of that.
I think when you gotta look at the education system, you gotta look at one. As I did in a recent podcast, the education system was never designed meant to be under the auspices of the federal government. That's why
Correct.
it's not missing the Constitution. And
Department of Education is unconstitutional.
It's very much so. It's very new, and people understand that's only created under another socialist Democrat, Jimmy Carter. It's a very recent institution.
Yes.
But yet you would think people will talk to people. You would think that it's been around since the beginning of the republic.
Yeah, and the general decline of education in America and everywhere else goes even back a little further to Thomas Dewey. People will remember the Dewey Decimal System. Yes. Well, he's the progressive who was really regressive, who started us down this road to dumbing down our own children.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. The education system is definitely where it all begins. And I did a recent podcast breaking down silent weapons, secret war, and that brought into how the elites look at education. Then there's another book, the dumbing down of education. A person who's actually an educator from the inside described how everybody was designed and created to be almost robotic. You know, the bell rings, everything stops. The bell rings again, everything starts. So, and that's not natural thinking, at all. So it's just robotic conditioning that we are all in, and now we look at not how we came to 2 + 2 = 4, or how the vowels come out together to form a word. We we're grade upon the end result. Yeah. Not necessarily how we got here. So now we're having this educational system where no one cares about critical thinking. Critical thinking about how do we come to an opinion. We don't even ask, well, what do you think about something, Sally? What do you think about this, Johnny? It's not how you feel about this, how you feel about this. And that's a totally different part of our brain, where when I was going, when you were going, we had to sound out words to get the word to come out. We had to show our work. How do we arrive at 2 + 2 = 4? Whatever. This new math and this
Common Core garbage.
Yeah, Common Core nonsense. Don't learn that. That's our kids don't.
Well,
attention span is contracting. People don't want to hear long stories or books or songs. They want everything here and now.
Right. Common Core tries to incorporate the algebraic show me your work and this is how you get there. But you don't need Common Core show me work, manipulate what is 2 + 2. No. That's for flashcards. Yes. If you can't understand that basic math based on memorization, then all the other math is worthless. But you hit the key words. Conditioning. They want to indoctrinate, not educate, condition people how to think and what to think, not be, as you said, critical thinkers, and indeed, to bring it back to why you're here, why? Ask the why, or as I say, all the journalism tenets. I'm not for forcing things, but I would greatly encourage every child to take a journalism class, right? Because who, what, where, when, why, and how are important in every situation. And today's media, they just They're not journalists. They're just reporters.
Yeah.
Chucky Schumer, what do you have to say? Tell us a lie and we'll just regurgitate it on air. No fact checking, no nothing, no pushback. But anyway, time has flown.
Right.
And so, do you have a website for people to reach out to you?
Sure. Of course. Project Third Eye Open. That's Project Third spelled out the letter I Open OPENED.com. Definitely follow
Okay.
me on your favorite social media platforms. Definitely reach out to me there. And if you want to reach out to me directly, just do Tony L at project3rdeyeopen.com.
And again, that's not LMNOP, that's
Right. It's
EL.
EL. Exactly.
Well, thank you, Tony, for joining. This is why I don't script shows. It's why I don't send, oh, here's the standard questions I'll be asking you to guests, nor do I expect you to say much about who you are and what you're about before you come on. Hey, we just open it up and whatever rabbit holes happen, we go down them here.
I just want to definitely encourage everybody to really, really look around and ask the question why, because there's a lot of crazy things going on, and there is a day of reckoning coming for this country, and it's not due to the American people. It's due to the primarily contracts and agreements that the U.S. government got itself involved with years and years ago. And this and pretty much took us down the wrong path. But the ignorance of the American people, not necessarily to blame the people themselves, but it is what it is. I mean,
we are all ignorant of things we've yet to research ourselves.
But when you look at
which is different than stupid, which is not wanting to learn.
Ignorance is a lack of knowledge. Stupidity to me is the person who just refuse to learn. But we have been created to be ignorant, because if you look at people look at the American people who grew up during your time, Joseph, it's not the same creature. At all, and that's deliberate. And if we look around and we individually question, because progress is supposed to be where we always add it on to the generation that this came before us, we're regressing. So, but if we all stop and think, how can this be? And once you start asking the question why and question how, we will have to put for some effort and some energies to come to an answer and maybe a response to do something about it for ourselves.
Yep. Yeah. The question why, as in motivation, matters, right? Why am I doing this show? My motivation matters because I'm a Christian and I care about others. I care about truth and reality.
Right.
Others are lying to you. Why? Because it's about power and control for them, not caring about you. It's more money, more power for them, the ruling elites, as you use the word.
I mean, people will say that, and they will say that as a derogatory thing. We all want to be rich and wealthy.
If we can, yeah.
Would like to be maybe within their boardrooms when they're having discussions such as this. But in the manner that they're going about destroying this country, I can't speak for anybody else, but this country, I think, is what brings my ire up, because our country was designed for free people, free thinking people of all different colors and backgrounds. But the fact that we have been dumbed down, that we're working against our best interests, working against our own country, that's where we also be as free thinking individuals. Once you ask that question why, I guess a lot of people who do not want to do that, because now once you ask that question, now you got to do something about it.
Free people and free thinkers, as well as religious people. John Adams said our Constitution is For a
Only to
religious,
try.
moral people, it is wholly inadequate for any other. Our
Holy, yeah.
Judeo-Christian ethics foundations of this nation, one of the reasons why I teach and preach from this pulpit, so to speak.
But
All
not just
right.
the ethics, but also the morality base as well. The moral education that comes from the Bible, which is why the Constitution was definitely founded on the Bible, the
Yeah.
Judeo-Christian Bible.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We could go for hours like I could
And we could.
with it, most guests. So, but indeed, to wrap it up, Tony L.E.L., Project ThirdEyeOpen.com, and the I is not I as an eyeball. It's in the letter I in that case. With all the alphabet jokes I've done, this time it really is a letter.
Very well so.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you,
Thank you,
Tony.
Joseph.
Take care.
Anytime.
God bless.
Thank you.
Oh, whoa, whoa. Wait. Don't go away yet. Couple thoughts I wanted to add on. Don't want to push this episode too much longer, though. Point I was partially trying to make regarding NAACP has to do with all kinds of organizations, is what I mean to say, right? No matter what they are, when they are formed, you sometimes have people with competing personal sub-agendas and motives, right? As a organization grows, you have more people come in, sometimes with their own personal sub-agenda, their own motives, may not necessarily be looking to join and grab the rope in the tug of war of issues and pull in the same direction. There are competing issues. So there are good people and bad people in every organization, right? Take, for example, the ACLU. When I was running for office in the 90s, you can still see the archived campaign website of mine. I can't change it now because it's in archives, but it says an association with the ACLU. I sure wouldn't be saying that today. ACLU is nothing but an arm of the DNC today. There were good and bad in the ACLU then. It's all bad, in my opinion, now. If I were running for office now, which I'm not going to be, my campaign site would say ACLJ, not ACLU, right? Same Southern Poverty Law Center, right? I don't know. In my opinion, I've only known them as negative leftist arm of the DNC, like the ACLU is now. There may have been a time when it was created. Good people with good intentions might have started it. I don't know. I don't know its history. All I know is I would have nothing to do with it today, and they are nothing but negative and destroying this nation. But anyway, the point, right? Good and bad, people and everything. People have sub agendas, their own motivations, not necessarily in line with an organization. And the other thing, right, shall be known by fruits, and show, don't tell. I don't care what you say, your actions speak louder than words. And I had just gone to lunch, come back and heard a song that was about boats, which sprang this thought. Did Al Gore, Bernie Sanders, and Al Gore, Barack Obama, and others buying boats to rise with all those waters they say are going to overflow and overrun all our coastal lands? Florida was supposed to be entirely underwater by now. Did they buy boats so that they can rise with the waters they claim is going to flood us all under? No, they bought beachfront houses. Yeah, they're hypocrites. They're liars. They want you to give them money for their schemes, their cons, but they buy beachfront property, showing they don't believe what they say. Otherwise, as I'm saying, they'd be buying boats. So, and they're not their primary properties, of course, right? Their second, their third, their fourth mansions on the beach. At any rate, that's all. Thank you all. Take care. God bless. Love you all. Like and subscribe to Constitutionalist Politics Podcast and share episodes. We need your help.
Stand up for what is right. Loves God and shares his message every day and night. Believes in freedom and making his voice heard. Sharing his message over all the earth. God loves you, for all you do. Stand strong and God bless you.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up.
Thank you for having tuned into another Constitutionalist podcast show. I really appreciate that you stopped by. Again, please like, share, subscribe. We need you to help spread the Constitutionalist movement. Thank you again. Take care. God bless. Love you all.